All right, welcome back to the Jelly Cards podcast, where John and I are spreading the love of the hobby. This is episode 73. You can listen to all our episodes on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts, including YouTube now. And if you are enjoying these topics, please give us a rating and a follow on both Spotify and Apple. Morning, John.
Good morning, Jason.
Fly to W, baby.
Yeah, what the hell are you wearing?
Florida Panthers
Yeah, it's
conquered the hunt, man. Stanley
Yeah.
Cup champions.
I love it.
My boy Barkov, man. And Lundell. I need more Lundell cards. That's what I
Yeah,
need.
you do. Hell yeah, you do.
But speaking of cards, we're going to play a game. I'm going to start off. We're playing a game.
Oh, God.
You know what that game is called?
The lights shut off.
Little red tricycle right in the background.
It's my wife.
No, the game is called Guess What Card Jason Bought.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Do I get any hints, like sport or something?
Well, I'll give you 3 guesses and then I'll tell you. But I'll give you a hint after each incorrect guess.
Okay. Is it, I can't even ask questions. I'm going to hope that it's PC, but I kind of feel like it might be an investment purchase. And if it's an investment purchase, I'm going to have to pick like basketball or hockey. So my first guess is another Franz Wagner card.
No, but you are right. It is an investment.
Okay,
and
that's good news.
It was one of the sports that you just mentioned.
Oh man, look at that! I know Jason so well. Who else does Jason like?
I thought this would be easy for you. I thought.
Okay, let's go with hockey now.
Come on, man.
It's got to be. How about Brock Faber card?
No, but okay, I'll give you one last hint. It is a play. You're all right. It's a Young Guns.
Oh shit!
But it's of a player that I have mentioned many times before.
Okay.
And okay, I'll give you one more hint. He was a first-round draft pick of last year. Damn, I'm gonna say the name, and you're gonna be very upset that you didn't remember this. Oh, you really let me down, man.
Leo Carlson.
No, damn it, John. I got a PSA 10 Young Guns of Zach Benson.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that purchase. Just
And
base, or did you go like crazy?
No, just base. Just base.
Okay.
Which sucks because the last Silver Outburst that sold of his in a 10 only went for $103.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I bought a PSA 10 Zach Benson Young Guns, and I actually bought it from the PSA vault. That was my first purchase from the PSA vault. I don't have my personal like PSA vault obviously set up. I don't have anything like that. So of course I'm just gonna get it shipped to myself. I'm not keeping it in there. But yeah,
I like that.
The only thing that sucked is I was watching 2 that were literally ending like minutes apart, and the one that ended before it. So I ended up choosing the PSA one just because it's coming from the vault. I have that, I guess. That little bit of safety knowing that, it's coming directly from PSA, and like it never even left PSA.
Yeah.
But the one before that was one of like the top consignment companies, and it sold for like $6 less than what I bought mine for. And mine, I think mine now is like the most it's sold in the last like however many months. But still, I think I'm super happy with it. I've been talking about Zach Benson a lot. I was talking about him when we were doing episodes with JK. We were talking about when we drove to Cleveland for 6 hours and we talked nothing but hockey for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I mentioned Zach Benson a lot, so I was like, you know what? Now's the time. Because I was reading, there was articles that got put out, and he is actually, I think he was ranked number 7 for players under the age of 25.
Nice.
He's only 19. He was 18 last year in the league, and he's 19 this year. So he's going to be starting the season at 19 years old, man.
That's awesome.
He didn't have a stellar season last year. I think he only had like 11 goals or something like that. But
he's young.
He's young. He's 19. I mean, he came right out of camp, joining the league at 18, playing in big boy league.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's on the Sabres. I feel like the Sabres didn't play bad last year. They could be an upcoming team. There's a lot of really great young talent on there. And I think, all Zach Benson needs, man, is one good season and that
I agree.
blast off, baby.
Dang, they weren't that far away from. I guess they were kind of far away, but they didn't have a horrible season at all.
No, not like the previous years.
Yeah,
So I think, yeah, I'm very happy with my purchase. I
me too.
finally got a Zach Benson card, and let's hope for the best.
Hell yeah, I like that purchase a lot. I'm proud of you, Jason.
It really upset me, though. I thought for sure. And you didn't even react like, oh, I should have known that.
I should have known that for sure. You talk about Zach Benson a lot.
Yeah.
Especially after we hit his cards in our hockey break that we did, or like hockey rip that we did.
Yeah.
We didn't run a break.
Which we should grade them.
Amen.
Let's send him in
Say
the
less.
graded.
We should have. We got to talk about that. But I also wanted to mention the PSA eBay page. They've got a lot of awesome cards on there, and I feel like sometimes those listings end at a bad time. So it could be like a sneaky eBay find for going.
Since they started doing the PSA eBay page and since they've been doing the PSA vault. Have you seen like the number of people who have left feedback already?
No.
It's like I think it's like over like 200,000 like feedback already. So
okay.
so clearly people are just buying buying from PSA now, which I mean could be great, could be not so great for other people on who sell on eBay like us.
Yeah.
That people might be feel like I don't feel the safety of buying from PSA off of eBay versus buying from possibly some like no name other company or eBay store that's on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people are buying heavily from PSA. I mean, I look at them too now. If I see that it's from the PSA vault, I'm always watching it if it's a card because yeah, it's I don't have to worry about like, am I gonna get scammed?
Yes.
I almost don't even have to look up the PSA cert number.
Right.
I still do.
Me too.
I just got it. It's that I got to make sure it's there. I got to make sure it's there because I also don't like buying into PSA slabs that have the same cert number for different cards. You know how they do that where they'll do like an actual graded card with one cert number, but then there's also PSA/DNA authentic cards that have the same cert number. And then you just have to click which one you want to look at. I don't like that.
Interesting.
So
very nitpicky, but I get it.
Yeah, anytime that I see that, I'm like, nope, no, I don't want it. Because it's like I think it's weird that like you have the same cert number out there for two different cards.
I get what you're saying.
Personal thing, yeah, probably weird. People are probably like, who cares? As long as it's on the PSA website, who cares? But it's just like it's a weird, weird thing to me.
Awesome. I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
man. But it makes sense. They list like thousands of cards every single day. And that makes a lot of sense.
They're all I think they're all consignments now too, because they if you read their descriptions on the listings, it gives the breakdown of their like consignment percentages that they do. Here's the thing, for a lot of people who are new into the hobby or who collect a lot and send cards off to get graded, the PSA Vault is a awesome thing that they started. Because you now don't have to have you don't have to worry about selling it on your own. It stays in the PSA vault. The moment you want to sell it, PSA lists it for you. I mean, yeah, they're taking a percentage because they're the ones doing the work, but still, it saves a lot of the hassle of going through the whole selling process, packaging. If you don't know how to sell cards on eBay, if you're new to it, if you don't know how to package and ship cards out, all that stress is gone because they do it for you.
Yep.
Or the best thing is you don't even need the card. If you're selling a card and you want it gone like this, hey, once that grade pops, throw it on your page and sell it.
Bingo.
Because I want that money back. I don't want to wait for it to get shipped back to me, and then I got to go list it, and I put it on a 7-day auction, and now there's all this time going by.
Exactly.
It was a smart thing to do. I'm shocked it took them this long to do it. I would assume eventually they're going to get off of eBay.
You think so?
Maybe. Why wouldn't they maybe partner with Fanatics and get onto their marketplace?
Yeah.
Or
True.
have multiple, I guess maybe multiple platforms that they use. They must have some type of maybe deal with eBay right now,
Yeah.
possibly. But I think eventually they might just start their own.
I wouldn't be surprised. You're
You
right.
know, start their own their own little marketplace off their own
Yeah.
website, and you can just similar to like a Golden site or something. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll
Maybe
just
like
start doing like major consignments and just doing it off their own like premier auction, whatever.
I agree
Could
with
be.
that. Probably super like declared value cards that are super high.
Yeah.
They're like, nah,
Mhm.
this is for our elite auction.
Yeah.
So they don't have to deal with the annoying parts of eBay buyers.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, which is unfortunate, now, and they have this new cancellation policy on eBay,
Dude,
which all they have to do is just click a button, cancel it. Before the
I've been
card,
hit with this twice
I've
on
gotten
one
hit.
Justin Fields card.
Damn.
I'm waiting for some guy to pay for a Fields card, and it's probably not going to be paid for, so I have to relist it again.
Yeah, I got hit on it on a $10 card. $10. And this person goes, "Yeah, I made a mistake bidding on it." You click the button. You click the button. It's not a mistake.
It's also not just like one thing. You have to place bid, put in the number you want to bid, place bid.
It's not a mistake that you bid on this. Like, it just doesn't do that. Like, that's not how it works. But I mean, hey, whatever. If you just want to, and I'm like, what am I going to do? No, I'm shipping this card out. Take the card. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. Like, it's, hey, whatever. And then, unfortunately, the card sold for less money than it previously did. Whatever. But yeah, it's like eBay's allowing buyers now to just be like, oh, I'm just going to cancel it. They didn't ship it yet, so I can cancel it,
Oh, that's a whole nother episode because
Yeah.
I have beef with a major seller.
But let's get into the topic of conversation, because I pitched to you. So the other day I was watching one of Jeff Wilson's podcasts, and he had this hobbyist on there. Her name's Mary Gamble. So if anybody doesn't know, Mary Gamble, she's very new to the hobby, actually. I think they said she only was doing this for like 6 months or something, like really heavy into the hobby. And she has now grown her Instagram page. She got over 13,000 followers. And if that's true, where it's only been 6 months, we suck.
We're so bad. I was just going to interrupt you to say that.
We gotta suck.
Yeah, man. We got to hang it up.
Yeah. But so she was on Jeff Wilson's podcast, just kind of basically going over her journey through the hobby, how she got started. She does it full time now, which is awesome.
Yep, super awesome.
She talked about how she had a corporate job that now she left. She does the hobby full time. But yeah, the reason why I got the idea for this podcast episode from their show is both Jeff and Mary said that they haven't really broken into baseball as much, because what I took from it is like they kind of don't know where to begin when it comes to baseball cards, and which I understand.
Yeah.
There is a drastic difference, I think, from baseball collecting versus like football, basketball, hockey, even soccer, anything like that, because there's so many prospects out there. Yeah, there's tons of prospects out there, and there's not a lot of information on these prospects. It's not like I can just turn on ESPN and go on SportsCenter or whatever. There they are, all the prospects. Hey, This is what the prospects are doing in the minor leagues and things like that. Sure, and even you could turn on MLB Network. But even then, you're really not breaking down prospects the way if you're going to buy into them, like you have to actually do all that work. And I think that's why, and there's different sets. Like, are you supposed to should you be buying into Topps Chrome? Should you buy into the rookies? Should you be buying into the first Bowmans? What sets? There's multiple baseball sets, but are they all valuable sets to buy into? There's a lot that goes into it. So I thought, and I pitched it to you, we love baseball. All we do really is buy into baseball cards.
Yes.
Let's record a baseball 101. Let's do a baseball cards 101 set for anybody out there who might be hesitant buying into baseball cards, or who does buy into it, but they're not really sure what they should be buying into. Have no fear. Jeli is here.
Yeah, exactly. Have no fear. The
We are here.
1,000 follower Jelly Cards is here.
The little over 1,000 followers in 4 years. We're here.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
So I want to pitch that to you real quick because I want you to basically let the listeners know, like, why baseball? So if they had the choice, and we love playing this game in the group chat, if we had the choice and you had to choose between baseball, football, basketball, hockey, what sport to buy into, because you can't say all of them. If you gave the answer of I think you should buy into baseball cards, why? What is your reason as to why you love buying baseball cards?
Yeah. Well, great job, Jason, introducing all of that. Very, very long answer / difficult discussion. So when Jelly Cards was formed, the reason that I said that we were going to buy into baseball, or that I suggested that we buy into baseball, was most importantly because of affordability. I always thought that the baseball cards market back in 2020, 2019, even then was a little bit high. But comparing the price of boxes for the important boxes in the sport, I thought baseball was way more affordable and had way more profit availability compared to opening and buying boxes of NFL Prism, NBA Prism, all the important boxes for basketball and football. Hockey as well, I think, is a great example of a sport that has affordable boxes that you can buy into and rip, which is what we tried to maintain as Jelly Cards because we just love the fun associated with ripping and kind of hanging out with your friends and opening boxes. So the reason, most importantly, that we buy into baseball is the affordability. I feel like even though every single cards market is inflated and expensive, at least for now, baseball cards, you can, like the average Joe person, can afford a case of baseball cards.
Yeah.
So that's that. When it comes to prospecting, that was just another example of cards that I thought if you want to buy singles, I think it's a great opportunity to buy a single. And then the con to buying into baseball cards as prospect hunters is that you have to wait a little while for that card to get the value that you hope for it. But the beauty that is also associated with baseball is that even if you buy a prospect who just got drafted or just got signed to a team and they start at a low level, which is in baseball terms rookie ball, A ball, high A, double A, triple A, and then the majors. If they start at a low level, rookie ball, and they progress through the minors, that card that you invested in still grows in value. If a baseball prospect starts in rookie ball, gets promoted to A ball, gets promoted to double A, at every promotion, his card market becomes more sought after. It gains more attention. So that was the main reason that we love buying into baseball. On top of that, John used to love baseball, used to love the MLB, but that's me being like jokey. We love baseball. We follow baseball. We know the sport more than we know the other sports. So that's another benefit for us as Jelly Cards buying into baseball cards is our ability to break down stats, our ability to look at the advanced batting statistics that have now taken over sports and kind of deciding, hey, this prospect has some good potential. His card market is here. We think he could go here based on other prospects who had similar ratings. And that's how we kind of make our decisions. But it's complicated as hell. And I'm happy that we're doing this episode because there's so much more to go into. What we used to buy into, what we decide to buy into now. If you're buying for rip purposes, all that stuff. So give I don't know, kind of keep going with my thought process, Jason. Why do we
I think the biggest thing why, first and foremost, is the money. I think compared to, like you said, compared to other sports in the hobby, football, basketball, obviously other than hockey, baseball is very reasonable. It's a reasonable sport that you can buy into. You're not going to be, you're going to be spending a lot of money, sure, but you're not going to be spending the same amount of money that you do on a football case or a basketball case. You can probably, honestly, buy, what, 4 cases of Bowman Draft for the price of one case of Prism Hobby football, I'll take the 4 cases.
Right, yeah.
Right? And not to mention, you're getting way more cards in the set. And here's the thing, like you said, when we first started, we were buying Bowman mega boxes. That's what we loved to buy. We were getting Bowman mega boxes for the Mojo refractors.
Yeah.
Then we realized, well, unfortunately, you're not getting autos out of it. And obviously, in the way that the hobby is swinging, autos are making a ton of money. They're great. You want autographs. So then we started buying into regular Bowman, which regular Bowman has first Bowmans in it. It also has Bowman rookies in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we're getting the autographs. But then, not a lot of the Bowman rookie cards were as valuable as first Bowmans. First Bowmans meaning those are the cards, the first print of that player. So if that player is getting a card and it's finally in a Bowman set, it's going to say first Bowman on it. So that means that's their first print. That's what everybody wants to buy when they get into baseball cards. And then we started thinking, well, I think Bowman Draft is probably the best set to buy into because there's no rookies. It's basically all first Bowmans, all players from the draft. So it will be their first cards released post-draft. And that's huge. That's when you're pulling Skeens. That's when you're pulling Marcelo Mayer. That's when you're pulling Jackson Holiday. That's the time when you want to buy into Bowman Draft, is right when that set gets released, which is usually around December, I think, is December.
Yep.
You want to get into Bowman Draft. Like I said, it's all first Bowmans in it. You get the first Bowman Chromes, and you're getting prospect cards. There's no rookies, nothing like that. There's no other base cards. You're not pulling cards of Cody Bellinger or Clayton Kershaw or Ohtani base, paper, whatever. You're not getting those. It's either players that were drafted or it's players from previous years that haven't made it to the majors yet. So if you're going to buy into baseball cards, and a lot of our discussion today is going to be based around Bowman cards and Bowman sets, I'm telling you right now, buy into Bowman Draft. But the biggest thing that you need to do, and like I said, is a lot different from the other sports because prospects do not receive the same level of media attention that obviously NFL players do or NBA basketball players do or even MLB players do. Is you got to do your research.
Yes.
You have to take the time to research. I mean, of course, everybody knew about Ellie. Everybody knows about Paul Skeens. Everybody knew about Jackson Holiday. It's easy to just buy into the best ones. Ellie De La Cruz is the number one prospect in baseball. I'm going to buy his cards because he's being talked about the most. Jackson Holiday, he's being talked about the most. Paul Skeens, generational talent. I'm going to buy into him. But you're already buying into super high markets that might be already at their peaks right now. Do your research, really break it down, utilize the top 100. John and I, we use the top 100 list constantly. I'm always on the top 100 list, and I'm going down and I'm looking at players. I'm reading players' bios. I'm looking at players' stats, and I'm watching film. I watch film.
He's just watching film. Pausing, rewind.
Yeah, I'm pausing. I'm looking at swings. He's got a hitch.
Yeah.
Like in Trouble with the Curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear the sound? But that's what you need to do. You actually need to do your research. It's not as easy as just buying into established professional players. Read the bios. Figure out. Like, I look at it. If a player is compared to another MLB player, like a current MLB player, already that's a good thing.
Yeah.
If they are compared to Francisco Lindor or something, at shortstop.
Beautiful.
Lindor's an all-star caliber shortstop.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I now look further into Carson Williams?
Exactly.
So I know we've been up at 3 a.m. breaking down. We've done many, many episodes. You can go back to previous episodes. We've talked a lot about prospects, the research that goes into it. So I think realistically, that's the best place to start. Understand what sets you're going to buy into. Understand what sets will be valuable, just like you do any other sport, just like you do football, basketball, soccer, hockey, wrestling, whatever you're buying into. You understand what sets are going to be valuable and make you money. apply that to baseball, and then go on MLB.com, look at the top 100 list, start reading up on players, and make your decision. And like you said, it's all opinion based.
Yeah.
Everything is opinion based.
Exactly. Yeah. So beautifully said. I want to go back to what you said about Bowman draft and like the Jeli cards progression and buying into boxes in the hobby. So, like Jason said perfectly, the most important baseball cards, at least for now, I don't know if the debut rookie patch autos are going to start taking over.
I don't think
so either. But for now, the first Bowman, which, like Jason said, is basically that draft player or international signee or whatever prospect. It's their first time appearing on a baseball card in their pro baseball uniform. And the beauty of Bowman is that they also have those first Bowman autos, and they get into numbered first Bowman autos, all that stuff. So, buying into product to rip, as we have progressed in the baseball card hobby, we realize that if we are going to be focusing on first Bowmans, we should probably buy into Bowman Draft, because every single auto in those boxes is going to be a first Bowman auto. Or I guess sometimes they do
prospect
variation.
autos.
There's variation image autos for like draft picks.
Yeah.
So the reason that we do that is because, so this is, God, man, this is going to be so hard to kind of touch on everything. So the best thing about doing Bowman is that, like I said before, you can hold the card for a long period of time. However, if you are kind of like the NBA/NFL collectors out there who want to buy and flip right away, even if you hit a card that's numbered pretty low and is an auto, you could sell it as soon as you open it, and you'll probably get a good chunk of money.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what I was saying earlier and trying to explain, as time goes on and as these prospects progress through the minor leagues and make it to the majors, their card markets go up with them. So you can hit a numbered out of 5 Paul Skeens auto as soon as you open Bowman Draft, as soon as it gets released, and you could sell it for thousands of dollars, because people know that, yeah, right now it might be worth $5,000 or maybe even more, but as he gets through the minors and becomes a Major League Baseball player, that card market is going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason that we kind of stuck with prospecting, because if we want to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball players, this ties into another thing that you said. Even on SportsCenter, MLB doesn't really get much coverage. It's usually just Ohtani, Judge, maybe like one clip of some amazing play on the top 10, some amazing catch. But when football season starts and basketball season and hockey season, MLB just kind of gets left in the dust. Maybe they'll show some postseason coverage. So
you gotta watch MLB Network.
Yeah, some people don't have that, so that's probably why that people don't really follow baseball or kind of go into baseball cards. But
plus, it's a long season. Like, we understand, it's a 162 game season. We get it. A lot of people don't like that. They can't follow it for that long. It's tough. You know, it's different than football. Like, I was watching a clip from Sports Card Nonsense, their podcast episode, and they actually said it perfectly about baseball versus other sports. In baseball, if a player has a really great game, Ohtani's 6 for 6 day, he has 3 home runs. Sure, you could probably see a massive spike in card sales that night. Everybody rushing out. We want Ohtani cards. But then Ohtani the next day goes out and goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Now what? Now it's like, oh, that was really high. It's different with football. C.J. Stroud has a huge game on Sunday. Throws for 350 yards and has 4 passing touchdowns. He has an entire week's worth of hype until his next game.
Yep.
It's different in baseball. They can go 6 for 6 with 3 home runs, and then the next day go 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and then the following day they go 1 for 3 with a single and a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, it's hard for these markets to they're going to just keep going like this during the season, because you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, and then they're going to have a hot month of May, and then they have a terrible month of July, and then they start increasing again in August, but then tank again in September. It happens.
Yes.
It is a long season. So it's different from a lot of other sports. You
And
gotta be patient with it. It's not, yeah, like you were saying, you can flip cards in an instant in other sports. If you want to flip cards fast in baseball, buy the set at the release date and turn them right there.
yep. Yeah,
So,
everything that you just said kind of ties into why Jelly Cards decided to do Bowman instead of doing established MLB Topps Chrome. Because we wanted to rip cards, we wanted to rip sets, we wanted the chance to hit an amazing card, amazing auto. And if you buy into Topps Chrome or all these other like MLB established focused sets, sometimes you get stuck with a reliever auto. You get stuck with some
yeah.
numbered out of 25 bullpen guy, and you're just like, oh my god, this was our best card from the case, and it's probably worth $50 right now. And kind of going back to why we switched over to Bowman Draft, another thing that we picked up on, and for everybody who's kind of new to baseball cards and prospecting especially, like Jason said, we are always looking at the MLB Top 100 prospect list, and that list has a strong influence on card market. And as we progressed in the baseball card hobby, we realized that a majority of the people on the MLB Top 100 prospect list, their first Bowmans will come in Bowman Draft. Almost always. Maybe like the international signings could be found in Bowman and Bowman Chrome, which are other sets that you can buy into. But I'd say at least 50%, if not 75% of the top 100 prospects in baseball are going to be drafted players.
Yeah.
So that's another reason that we switched over to buying Bowman Draft.
But some do fall into Bowman, regular
Yep.
Bowman too. Bobby
Yes.
Witt. Bobby Witt was a great example of Bobby Witt was not in Bowman Draft. So if you're going to try to go back and buy sets of Bobby Witt, remember he wasn't in draft. He was actually in regular Bowman.
Exactly. So that's kind of the sucky part about doing things like that, doing draft and buying draft specifically, is that for some reason, I guess probably for money purposes, Topps doesn't put every single pick of the draft inside Bowman Draft, and they save some for Bowman, they save some for Bowman Chrome. And I guess that's kind of a testament to why Bowman is so great in our opinion. Topps realizes that these players' first Bowmans are what people are searching for. If we put all of them into draft, nobody's going to really be interested.
Yeah, because
in
there's
buying
not as
Bowman.
many international signings as there are going to be draft players.
Exactly. So that's another thing about that. And I kind of want to give a further breakdown of how we also approach people outside the top 100. So both of us. Yeah, it's
I
in
got
the
that
notes.
written.
Both of us, as soon as the top 100 list gets out, we're like, okay, cool, that's great. But we really wait for each team's top 30 prospect list, which is another thing that the MLB does. And I think Fangraphs does it, and like StatMuse, I don't know. Who knows?
If you want to make it easy, MLB.com, you got to wait for the top 30 for each team to come out.
Yeah, so giving away my personal buying secrets. So once the top 30 list comes out for each team, I try to go through their top 10, I go through their top 20, and then once I get to the bottom 10 of their top 30, I get really interested and I dig deeper. I love MLB.com because if you click on the player, it'll show you their bio, it'll show you their stats, which are just like their standard stats nowadays, like average, on base, slugging. And if I find somebody who I think has a good average, like I tell you all the time, walks more than they strike out, gets on base pretty well, has good slugging, I'm like, okay, this is somebody to watch. As soon as I find somebody there, I also jump to Fangraphs and I look at as much as it pains me to give credit to the advanced statistic people out there, I look at their ISO, which is basically a metric in baseball that kind of tracks power hitting, because like we've talked about before, the hobby is always attached to and attracted to power hitters. So I look at their ISO. If their ISO percent is over 0.2, that means that they're a pretty good power hitter. I look at their BABIP, or that's what Eric calls it. Yeah, I look at their BABIP because if their BABIP is above 300, that means that
that's good. Putting a lot of balls in play.
Putting balls in play that should be hits. So I'm just trying to break it down for people who are interested in getting into baseball and want to make money, or at least try to make money on prospects. You got to do a lot of research, like Jason was saying. But I want to kind of give an example of a card market that is like do you want to buy a card and flip it within a day, or do you want to buy a card and flip it within a year or two?
Yeah.
It could go either way, and I want to use Jackson Merrill as an example
Yeah.
because Jackson Merrill, when 2022 or 2021 Bowman Draft came out, he was on the box, but he was not very sought after because in that set he didn't have any autos. All he had was first Bowmans. And that's another thing that's it's like another touchy, like, whole episode. Topps puts first Bowmans in the draft, but they don't put
don't give
first
him
Bowman
autos.
autos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his quote unquote first auto is in 2022 Bowman, which came out after 2021 Bowman Draft. And it doesn't have the first Bowman on there, but because it's still his first ever official Bowman auto, people want it and people love it. So his 2022 Bowman Chrome Superfractor Jackson Merrill auto, numbered 1 of 1 Superfractor, PSA 9 Auto 10, just sold on September 22nd for $25,526. And I'm using that as an example because I also pulled up Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Like Dr. Evil. Awesome.
So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, who's like a top up-and-coming NBA basketball player. On September 15th, his 2018 Panini Prism rookie gold auto PSA 10, numbered out of 10, sold for $17,100. So I'm just trying to prove a point here that you held the Jackson Merrill auto for maybe 2 years, and that card sold for $25K. You held this SGA Gold Prism rookie PSA 10 for up to 6 years, and that card sold for $17,000. And that's just kind of a breakdown, or at least an example of the research that we did when we decided to buy into baseball cards. You could buy a baseball card and hit a massive auto and sell it right away, and you'll make money. Or you could also hold the auto and you could make even more money. Of course, there's risk that it'll go down, but I just wanted to get that example out there because baseball cards is nowhere near the market that the NFL has, or maybe the NBA Prism, like those sets have. However, we feel and felt that there's good growth potential and it's affordable, and that's why we did it.
A big thing too that what we like to do, and just kind of piggybacking off what you said about when to kind of sell these cards. I'm okay with giving away our strat because I want other people to be just as successful in baseball and as we are. I want everybody to make money off their cards, and a big thing what we like to do is we hold the cards until call up, and I think that's a perfect time to hold. A lot of times, a prospect might sit in the minors for maybe 2 to 3, maybe sometimes 4 years. But realistically, I think it's probably around like maybe on average 2 to 3 years that they're going to be in the minors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have enough patience to hold that card?
Great.
Because if you do, I'm telling you right now, call-up hype is a real thing. A lot of players get a massive amount of hype around their call-up dates. So if you have these cards and they're just sitting, let them sit. Let them sit for 2-3 years until they get called up. A lot of times when I'm looking at the prospect list, I look at ETA. When are they going to? What's the estimated time of arrival into the majors? Is it 2025? Is it 2026? Sometimes I might not look at players that are like 2027 because I'm like, you might not need to buy into them right now, or their markets might be super high already because they just came out. They're young kids. They're 17 years old. And there's a lot of hype around them already. Maybe let that market kind of, plateau a little bit as they work their way through the minors, because it will more than likely plateau unless they're just skyrocketing up the prospect list, which can happen. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're in the top 10, you're gonna be extremely valuable versus if you're 90 through 100.
Yes.
But the 90 through 100 are the best players to look at because there's so much potential for them to increase in value as they move up the rankings. Tyler Black, you brought up Tyler Black. At the first time you ever brought up Tyler Black, he wasn't a top 100 prospect.
Yeah.
And he makes it into the top 100. Now he's a top 50, I believe. Lazaro Montez. I've talked about Lazaro Montez many times. He was in the 80s or 90s. I believe he's now close to either top 50 or he might be already past top 50. Carson Williams, when I first talked about him, he was number 20. He's top 10 now. So all these players are making their way. Josue DePaula, they're making their way through the rankings in the minors, and they're moving up, and it's going to make their cards that much more valuable. Even when okay. So let's say you find a player. This is the player I want to buy into, or for instance, we'll say if anyone's like looking for singles, not breaking down like ripping the sets. If you find a player and like, okay, now I want to go look up their card market. First thing I do when I'm looking at a prospect, what does their first Bowman auto cost? That helps me understand the market that I'm looking at. If their first Bowman auto in a PSA 10 is selling for close to $1,000, might not be the player to buy into, in my opinion, because that means a lot of other hobbyists out there already know it. They already know this prospect. They know what the talent that they bring and the potential that they can have. So, but if I find a prospect that maybe has a first Bowman that costs 200 or OBO, now we're cooking with gas here. Now I can start really breaking down and looking at their market. I can look at other refractors. And here's a big thing when you're looking at refractors that I wrote down. Low numbered doesn't always mean more value.
Oh boy.
And what I mean by that is you're out of 99s, you're out of 75s. If you want to look at, purple out of 250, just because they're numbered doesn't mean that, that's going to make it more valuable.
Okay, good point.
Because if you look at out of 99 green, you would think, hey, that should be more valuable than the out of 150 true blue. But the out of 150 true blue is basically buying into a silver prism of a football player. Everybody wants out of 150 blue. That's a collector's item in a set. So just because, and out of 75, you talked about it, out of 75 yellow, that was added in. That was added in maybe a couple years ago. Not a lot of collectors really want to buy into out of 75. You would think it should be valuable, but it's really not. I mean, there is value to be made, but in comparison to out of a true blue, that card's going to sell less than a true blue. So just because you have low numbers doesn't mean it's extremely valuable. But another big thing too, and I wanted to mention this, what I was listening to on the Jeff Wilson show with Mary Gamble, is when they were talking about case hits. All these other sports have case hits. Baseball does not have case hits. At least when you look at Bowman sets, they don't have case hits. They don't have color blasts. They don't have kabooms, downtowns. I know Jeff, was talking about the top set where they, release like the home field advantage, where they have the spotlight cards.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at first Bowman draft, Bowman Chrome, your case hits are your numbered cards.
Basically,
a case hit is out of 50 gold, out of 25 orange, out of 5 red, or of course your 101s. So that's really those are your case hits. Yes, I understand you're not going to pull a kaboom, you're not going to get a downtown color blast, or if that's what you're looking for. You could get lucky and get a out of 5 auto of the top prospect. You can unfortunately get an out of 50 gold of, like you said, of some reliever on, on the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, exactly.
It just happens. But yeah, kind of go over though, buying into refractors and what refractors are the ones that you should be looking at, because there are a lot. You get the first Bowman Chrome. Well, you have first Bowman paper. Then you got first Bowman Chromes. Yeah. Then you got first Bowman Chrome refractors. Then you got first Bowman Chrome refractors numbered out of 499. Then you got your out of 250 purple. Then I believe it's the out of 150 true blue. Then out of 99 green. Out of 75 yellow. And then you're out of 50 gold. Out of 25 orange. Out of 5 red. And then your 101s. I think I hit them all. I know that I know they're adding in like the craters, the lunars, the grass, whatever those ones, lava, ray waves. There are a ton in it, but when you break down the the basic refractors out there that those
Atomic.
are pretty much atomic,
Out of
you know,
100.
yeah, that's right. Atomic ones too as well. Yeah, break it down. Which refractors are the ones that you should be looking at?
Great point. A lot of great points. Good job, Jason. I
Yeah.
didn't think to talk about that. In kind of to like
First, I
to hit
also
on.
want to say this because you hate on BGS so much. On August 31st, Jackson Merrill, a 2022 Bowman Chrome gold refractor, numbered out of 50, graded BGS 9.5, auto got a 10, sold for $2,013. BGS.
Well done.
I just want to say that. You're going to like this one too. That same card graded a SGC 9.5, auto got a 10. Well, that card on August 25th sold for $1,986, by the way.
For everybody listening,
That's a very high card.
I promise you, if those cards were PSA 10s, they'd be worth more.
Boy, a raw. Okay, well there goes my Jackson, my SGC one, because on August 24th, the day before that one, a raw out of 50 gold auto of Jackson Merrill sold for $1,536.01.
And where do you think they're sending that, Jason?
Jesus, raw?
Yeah, man.
Oh my.
PSA.
Damn.
But
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah, go into
what
refractors to buy into, yes.
So, kind of going back to what you said about case hits. The Bowman draft has quote-unquote case hits, but in Topps is kind of a knock on Topps currently. Those case hits are usually like mood ring. You know those they look like wavy rainbow colored mood ring for Bowman draft that we had with Brooks Lee and all those cards. Those are their case hits, which are kind of lame. Their case hits are not up to speed with the rest of the hobby.
Like, I don't look at them as case hits.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I'm more interested. Like what Jason is saying is that we are way more interested in buying a case of hobby boxes of Bowman, and your case hit is your guaranteed an orange out of 25, and you hope that orange is an auto. So back to the refractor situation. Amazing point by Jason, and kind of just a note for people who are interested in baseball cards. When Bowman first started, or at least modern Bowman first started, not talking about the 50s Bowman, when modern Bowman started, the parallel cards, or like the refractor cards, or different colored cards, were pretty much limited to refractor, blue, or I guess in order of numbered, refractor, purple, blue, atomic out of 100, green, and then I think it went, for Bowman draft, there was the black out of 75, but that's kind of not as popular as much anymore either. Gold out of 50, orange out of 25, red out of 5, 1 of 1 superfractor. So, as the Bowman sets have progressed and they have come out, like Jason said, for some reason, even though that there are new refractors out there like yellow out of 75 and like black out of 75 and green grass out of 99 and all these other refractors that are numbered lower than the blue out of 150, and there's even a blue wave which is also numbered out of 150, because the true blue was an original refractor, like Jason said, similar to the silver prism in NFL and in NBA. Everyone may not be logical, but they are way more attracted to having that true blue refractor because it feels like a nostalgic original refractor of the player's card. So there's that. I also wanted to touch on another thing that you said, like how long are you willing to hold a card? The benefit, and kind of another kind of giving away our trade secrets, when Bowman draft comes out, the MLB draft is usually in July, and as soon as those players are drafted, maybe within a week or two after they sign to the team and officially sign on with the organization, they're immediately sent to whatever level of minor league baseball that the team wants. That is in July. That's what happens when the actual MLB draft happens. Bowman draft gets released in December, or sometimes even January of the following year. So, again, kind of a breakdown for the people out there who are listening who are like, well, what are you guys talking about? You're ridiculous. Of any prospect that you hold on to could tank and they'll never see the majors. So when Bowman draft comes out, we decide to do research on which prospects, based on their statistics in the minor leagues since they were drafted. Which prospects do we want to hold because we think that they have the potential to progress in the minor leagues, and which ones do we want to sell right away? So we're not saying that you should buy into Bowman and hold prospect cards for as long as possible. But if you want to do the proper research and kind of do what we do, when Bowman Draft comes out in December, I'm looking at the checklist and I'm looking at each player's stats in the minors since they were drafted in July and saying, okay, these are your top prospects from this case. These are the guys that maybe have a chance, and then these are the guys who are just really struggling right now. I don't know if we really want to hold them, but it might be risky. So I just wanted to point that out as well. It's not like we're saying buy Bowman and sit on Bowman, and then people are yelling at us like, I spent $4,000 on this case, and I haven't sold a single card because you told me to hold them.
Yeah.
So I just want to mention that as well. Another benefit for us doing Bowman versus doing something like Topps Chrome. But yeah, it's a great point by you, Jason, because it's not logical because the rules of the hobby dictate that the more rare the card is, the more it should be worth.
Yeah.
But having a green auto out of 99 or a green grass auto or whatever the heck, green, I don't even remember what else they used to do, auto out of 99 is not as valuable as a blue refractor, true blue refractor out of 150. And to elaborate, we're getting too much talking. The true blue, I have a card right here I can use as an example.
Do it. Show it.
Okay. So true blue means that the refractor is actually just pure blue. There's no blue wave. No, there's no blue ray wave, blue shimmer. It's not like sparkly. It's just a true blue refractor. Like you see how
is that Jackson Jobe?
It is Jackson Jobe.
Oh yeah, just called up.
Yeah, so that is a true blue refractor card of a prospect.
I like that you had cards ready because I almost had a stack of our PSA slabs for show and tell.
This is just actually a stack of my current personal eBay listings. So anyway, that is what we're talking about. There's true blue, there's true gold, there's true orange, there's true red, and that is just pure refractor, no shimmer, no wave, no ray wave, no sonic. I don't even know what the heck they come out with now. So that's what we're talking about. That's what people want because it's just like a prism refractor in NFL or NBA. It's just pure, to the core, parallel, rare baseball card for a player.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about that as well because Jason made me think of it. Like a red wave out of 5 is still out of 5, and it's an amazing prospect card to have. But
it's not the same. Like and exactly what you're saying. If you're pulling a true blue versus a blue shimmer, though you're still getting the same out of 50 number, the prices are not the same, and that just comes down to the collectors. That comes down to what the collectors want when they buy into these players. They want the true refractors. You would think a shimmer would possibly be a better card to buy into because it looks cooler. It does. It's fancier looking, print to it. But a lot of true collectors that buy into baseball cards don't want that stuff. They want what is known, and what is known are the true blue. But that's what it is. When it comes down to it, they want what is known, and what is known is what they've been buying into. Like that's a big thing too. That's why a lot of collectors don't like these new refractors that come out because they are brand new. They're not how it used to be. True blue is what it used to be. That's what they want to collect. Silver prisms. I mean, now they made silver prisms. It used to be every rookie was coming in with a silver prism.
Yeah.
Now they're a little bit more rare, I guess, to pull. They're just base, but people like those.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying. When you were talking, I've been trying to find an example of true blue versus out of green 99, and I cannot find one. I looked up Skeens. I looked up Jackson Holiday. I cannot find a true blue out of 150 and then a green numbered out of 99 auto. I wanted to use the auto as an example, PSA 10. And I can't find it. It's really pissing me off because there should be old prices on here for those cards. Because I want to kind of, use an example to prove what we've been saying.
Okay.
I've been trying Marcelo Mayer. I can't find it. Like, come
I
on.
got you. Okay, so here's another example of a prospect tying it all in. Another prospect that initially, when the set came out, almost no interest, or that happens all the time, which is why we do the research.
Mhm.
Set comes out, everyone's so laser focused on Paul Skeens, Wyatt Langford, Jackson Holiday, Jackson Churiel, Ellie De La Cruz. All these guys are superstars. They're going to freaking break into the league and dominate. Roman Anthony. So Roman Anthony is another Boston Red Sox prospect. He was in 2023 Bowman. And when 2023 Bowman came out, God, I'm getting old. I can't remember stuff. I don't know who the major chase was. I think it was Luis Rodriguez.
And which one?
2023 Bowman.
Oh, regular Bowman?
Drew Jones. Drew Jones was the guy. Drew Jones was the number one chase. And then, so Roman Anthony was in there. So was Joshua De Paula. Like, all these other prospects are in there, but it's heavily focused on Drew Jones because there's a bounty on Drew Jones cards and whatever. August 25th, 2024. 2023 Bowman Chrome Roman Anthony Green Refractor Auto out of 99, PSA 10, $604.99 auction. July 9th, 2024. 2023 Bowman Chrome Blue Refractor Auto Roman Anthony PSA 10, $676. So $70-something more than the $71 more than the Green Refractor out of 99 PSA 10.
Here, I found an example. James Triantos.
Hell yeah.
James Triantos is True Blue PSA 10 Auto, first Bowman Chrome, sold for $232. He has a green numbered out of 99, first Bowman Chrome, graded PSA 10, sold for $178.50. So even though it's out of number 99, it's numbered out of 99, it's rarer to pull, it sells for what? $80 less?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's
50,
that's completely $50 less than what his out of 150. And I think Triantos. Let me go on
I was just
MLB.com.
gonna say,
I'm gonna say Triantos is actually a great example to use too of a player who is somewhat high on the rankings, but the market doesn't reflect the play. And I think Triantos is a perfect example of the prospects that we personally look for. Now, we have bias towards Triantos because he's a Cubs prospect.
Yeah.
So, of course, we're going to like Triantos. But that is a great example of a player who's really, really good, but the rest of the hobby is not paying attention to him. And I want to look him up because I believe, he sits at 56 right now. On MLB's top 100 list, he is number 56. And his True Blue, which like we've been talking about, is one of the big cards to pull or to have in a PSA 10 first Bowman Chrome Auto, sells for $232. Now, John, look up Marcelo Mayer's. Look up Marcelo Mayer's True Blue.
Oh, God.
Or, okay, we could talk because I want to pick, I was going to say Paul Skeens, but he's already in the majors. I want to pick like a prospect that's still currently in the minors.
Yeah, we got to pick somebody who might have sold recently because Marcelo's probably a hold for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, he is moving up. Hold on, let me see. Should have had this all pulled up already.
Yeah, I'm going to look up Jackson Holiday instead.
Well, Jackson Holiday is over $3,000.
Yeah, but I'm what about Carson Williams?
Man, I'm typing Carson Williams too.
$515.
$515?
Yep. That seems so cheap.
Yeah, he seems cheap too.
Oh my God.
Well, he had actually, on August 31st, he had one sell for $405.
See?
And he's a top. Perfect example here.
Yeah.
Carson Williams is a top 10 prospect, and his True Blue selling for $405. But you got Jackson Holiday, who's obviously the number one prospect in baseball at one point. His is over $3,000.
Yes.
I'm going to buy into 405 of Carson Williams easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to look at that and go, well, if Carson Williams becomes the number one prospect in baseball, I'm making $3,500 more on this card.
I don't know if you're going to make that, but you're going to make
saying.
a good amount of money.
I'm just saying. And then you can also look at, James Trianto sitting at 232. Okay, Carson Williams is a top 10 prospect. So what happens if James Triantos becomes a top 10 prospect? Am I going to double my money on this card?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to look at it. And I think, yeah, like I said, I think Triantos is an awesome player to look at. That's somebody that is number 56 on the rankings. He's going to continue to move up. He's only 21 years old. He's got he's got an ETA of 2025, so he's going to get called up probably next year. And currently, right now in 2024, he's batting 300. He's got an OBP of 346. He's slugging 427, OPS 773. He's got 133 hits in 115 games, 7 home runs, 52 RBIs, and he's got 47 stolen bases.
Awesome.
Yeah. And he's got an ETA of 2025. So if you are going to look at James Trianto's cards, give it another month. Let this month finish out. Wait for the offseason. Buy into Triantos. He's currently plays in AAA right now. He could be a opening day roster call-up. And at 232, my guess is that card would probably double when he gets called up.
Yeah. So, yeah, wonderful examples all around. But this is what we're talking about. There's Roman Anthony is definitely, he's got to be lower than Carson Williams. I think Carson Williams is top 5. Roman Anthony is like top 20 probably now. And his blue auto sells for, I just said, like $700. Mm-hmm. And Carson Williams is sitting at $400.
Carson Williams is number 4.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I didn't realize he made it to number 4.
So this is just a part of the research process. Mm-hmm. For some reason, people are way more attached to Roman Anthony than they are Carson Williams. It's probably
But you also got to look at team. Roman Anthony's Red Sox. Carson Williams played for the Rays. Which you would think it would be switched because everybody knows how great of the talent that the Rays draft. Or not only draft, but they proud.
Yep, exactly. So that's perfect tie into what I want to talk about, or like another player that I want to mention. How many this is like not good, but I haven't looked at the prospect list in a while, but I'm pretty sure the only Yankee on the prospect list is J-Down, top 100.
Spencer Jones. He's not on it anymore?
He's not on it. Yep, I'm going to double check because I don't want to be super wrong. I'm going to go to the Yankees. Yeah,
interesting. He's not Yankee on it.
Yeah. So Spencer Jones, who is not on the top 100 MLB prospect list, he is currently the Yankees' number 2 prospect, but he's still not on the top 100. His True Blue auto in a PSA 10 sold on July 17th. For $1,380.
He's a good player. I'm shocked that he's not.
He is a great player. Anymore. He will be, but this is what I'm getting at. He's not on the top 100 right now. And like a year or two ago, Kevin Alcantara was not on the top 100. They knocked him out. But he will be on the top 100. And when that happens, that $1,380 card likely is going to go up. It probably is already up because that sale was back in July. And he's getting better. And he's just going to progress. And he's a power hitter. Like, this is what I'm trying to tie into here. It's just, there's so much research that goes into prospecting. It's not something that you're just going to pick up on right away. Everything that we are talking about is us going through our growing pains in the hobby, realizing that we shouldn't be buying Bowman mega boxes only, realizing we shouldn't be buying only 1 or 2 hobby boxes, realizing we should put our money into a case if we really want to rip so that we can get a ton of first Bowman autos. That's just things that you learn as you progress in the hobby that I'm trying to help people realize. It's, if you are willing to put in the research and kind of go past the top 100 prospect list, even though you don't even have to, if you go into the bottom 50 and find a prospect that you really like, and you think to yourself, they're going to update this prospect list and this guy is definitely going to move up. You can do stuff like that. And if you go beyond that, you can find cheaper markets and hope that they also grow at an exponential rate. And that's the reason that we as Jeli Cards kind of invest most of our money into baseball cards.
Yeah. And I want to end on this too. Don't get caught up just on the top 10. And that's like the big thing why we keep talking about it is don't get caught up just looking at the top 10 thinking that those are going to be the best players to buy into, because Again, one, their markets are already going to be super, super expensive because they are top 10 prospects, especially if they make it in top 5. I'll end on this one. A great player to look at is Ethan Salas. Ethan Salas was a big time prospect coming into the league, and he was ranked. I think he was like number 6 on the list or something like that.
Maybe
even top 5.
Yeah.
I think he's fallen down to. I think he's now number 17. Yeah, he's 17th on the list right now, and because of that, his market's taken a hit. His first Bowman Chrome autos in PSA 10s, one sold on September 7th for $187.50. I'm sure if I went back and looked up what his prices were at call up, yeah, I'm sure that it would be way higher than 187.50. And that's just what happens. I think there's a lot more room for players to grow, or your value to grow, when you're looking at players that are maybe even in like the 80 through 100 range or outside the top 100, versus focusing solely on, I need the top best players. Who's the best prospect right now? Oh, let me buy into Ethan Salas because he's ranked number 5.
Yes.
So I think that's a great place to end on. I know it was a lot of information. I hope that this
and we didn't even hit everything.
I know. I hope this episode provided you with at least, the groundwork. At least something to go off of. So when you're searching on eBay, you're going to your local hobby shop, or you're going to card shows around the nation, and you see first Bowman Chromes, or you see baseball players, prospects. I hope this episode gave you a little bit of knowledge that you can hopefully buy into some good cards and make some money off of some baseball players.
Oh yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, it was.
John, you could take it away, man.
All right, my final thought. We talked about a lot, and like I said, this is probably just, and like Jason said, this is just the groundwork. There's so much more that we could talk about, and we probably should talk about on future episodes. But you mentioning Salas made me think of another important note in baseball in the hobby world that I often get a lot of heat about in the Jeli Cards group chat. Position players, way more important in the hobby world than pitchers. Pitchers in baseball get no love unless you are Paul Skeens and you are dominating and striking out every walking thing on planet Earth. So, if you're going to buy into prospect cards, I like buying into pitcher cards personally because I do think that there is hidden value there. But if you want like high-end prospect cards that are going to sell for $22,000 like that Jackson Merrill, you got to look at hitters because hitters get way more love in the hobby than pitchers. Just my final note there. So this podcast episode, Final Thoughts, was dedicated to Jeli cards and how we approach the baseball card hobby, just based on our experiences in the 4 years that we've been doing Jeli cards as baseball collectors. There's so much more to touch on. We dedicated this episode to prospecting because of what research we did and how we hope that prospect markets could go up compared to buying into established baseball players. And like I've often said in the chat, you're kind of just hoping for somebody to have an MVP season or an MVP caliber season for that card to make as much money as you can get from a prospect advancing through the minor leagues. So please reach out to us. Almost all of our hobby connections are from John at Jeli Cards joining baseball breaks. So I know that there are baseball card collectors out there who support us and are friends of ours. So please reach out and let us know your thoughts. If there's something that we missed, or something that, if you're a MLB players only collector, by all means, I would love to have that conversation. Who are you buying into in terms of people who have already made the MLB, and how do you plan to hold those cards and flip them? All of that discussion is what this podcast was formed for. So please, you can reach us on our social media platform at Jelicards, JELICARDS, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on X, aka Twitter. You can reach us there, message us, let us know your thoughts, and please, if you enjoy the podcast, follow the podcast on both Apple and Spotify. Leave us a rating. We would love that. We would really appreciate that. And yeah, I have a lot of beef with the current league, MLB, MLFB, as I like to call it, of baseball. But I still do love the sport at its core. It's the sport that I love the most. So thank you, Jason, for at least bringing me back to some of those feelings and letting me appreciate it, the prospecting that we do and the research that we do.
I want to get you back into buying cards.
Baseball, whatever. So anyway, Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope we have an amazing weekend and an amazing week ahead. It's almost October, which is postseason baseball time. So for
Yep.
all you baseball fans, I know that's an exciting time. Yeah. And thank you, everybody. As always, keep spreading the love of this hobby from your friends at Jelly.